Here they come. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. We're just going to wait till everybody pops in. Yep. Welcome to Rochester Lifestyle Medicine Institute. This is a information session about our 15-day Jumpstart. And we are all so excited that you're here. So I am Dr. Ted Barnett, the high-tech doctor with low-tech solutions. And someday you'll learn what that means. Maybe I'll figure it out one of these days. But basically, as you can see behind me, I am a radiologist. I live in the high-tech world most of the time. But I also think it's really, really important for people to understand that the real secret to health is not high-tech at all. The secret to health is really the low-tech lifestyle medicine interventions that we teach people all about at Rochester Lifestyle Medicine Institute. So I'm just going to go around the room and introduce everybody. First, we have Bob Franke, who's the project director for the Jumpstart, and our communications director. So say hello, Bob.
Hi, everybody. It's going to be wonderful to meet you tonight, give you a little overview of what you could expect if you signed up for the Jumpstart, and I will be there with you, as well as my little dog, Buster, all the way. Thank you.
Excellent. Great. And then there's Bubby Starin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome tonight. Jumpstarts are one of my favorite things to do with RLMI, and I'm really excited that everybody is joining us tonight to learn a little bit about it. Thanks.
And if you do Jumpstart, you'll be lucky to have Bubby as your facilitator.
Oh,
Bubby
that's
is our
sweet.
star facilitator. Yeah, exactly.
Thank
And
you.
There's my wife, Carol. And just wave.
Oh, hello, everyone. I love everything about plant-based cooking and eating, and I love Jumpstart because it gives me a chance to meet a lot of new people to talk about plant-based food with.
Which she loves. And there's a cat that's usually making its appearance. So there you are. Jeez. That's Nellie, right? Yeah. And then there's Austin Retzloff. Austin, say hello. He's our, yeah. And,
yeah, I do graphic design with Bob, and I'm a panelist here for the program tonight.
So welcome, everybody. So Bob, what are we going you want me to talk about Jumpstart now, Bob? All right. So I get all my cues from Bob. He's my teleprompter. And so we started Rochester Lifestyle Medicine Institute back in 2015. The first program we were teaching people about was we use a program called CHIP, which stands for Complete Health Improvement Program, which is this wonderful lifestyle medicine intervention. And it's 18 sessions. It's a big commitment, not a huge investment of money, but it is a big commitment of time. And so we found it's kind of tricky to get people to actually sign up for it. I tell people it's like getting kids into the bathtub. You can't get them in, and then you can't get them out. So CHIP is really great, but we really needed a program that people would feel like they could commit to for a short period. So we came up with this 15-day Jumpstart. And I like to tell people that, you're a grown-up, you can do anything for 2 weeks. And we ask you to make really, really drastic changes. For most of you, it's pretty dramatic, going from a standard American diet to a very low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet. And you learn more about that in the Jumpstart, and you'll hear about that from our participants who are going to be giving some testimonials here. And we've been doing that since 2018. We've been running Jumpstarts. We've had over 1,000 people go through it. We run the Jumpstarts every month. And since we've gone virtual because of the COVID-19 epidemic, we've been doing it on Zoom. And so we've now had people from, I think, about 35 states, 3 Canadian provinces, the UK, and it's just been really, really fun meeting people from all over the world, and at least from all over the country in the English-speaking world. I like to believe in my more optimistic moments that we're actually going to be leading to world peace, because everyone on the planet's going to get to know each other through Jumpstart. And who knows? It's harder to hate somebody if you get to know them, right? So we have published a couple of articles about Jumpstart. We've had our first article published in March that was just about the results of Jumpstart. And so we're really excited about that. That was in the American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine. And we try to take an academic approach, because for whatever reason, even though we think we know that we have the secret, for whatever reason, the medical establishment has not really recognized lifestyle medicine and plant-based nutrition for the value that it actually offers. And so we are trying to get get the message out through the peer-reviewed literature. So we're really, we really emphasize that, and that's important to us. Bob, what else should I be talking about?
Well, that's a nice little overview to begin with. And why don't I get started? And then this way, if there's something that you think would be nice to fill in on, then you could do that. Unless there's something else right now that you would want to.
No, go for it. So Bob has his own little personal testimonial, which that's what we're gonna hear about now, right?
Well, that's at the end.
That's at the end. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that was the surprise.
Oh. All right.
Okay, that's all right. Spoiler alert. There's a testimonial at the end. Okay, but I will share my screen now, and I will get this story started. Once upon a time, there was a plan called Jumpstart. Let's see if I can make this a little better. For some reason, I guess Zoom's not letting me do it in full screen. That's interesting. But at least it's letting me page. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the calendar of events for anybody that would take the Jumpstart. So after this session is over, at some point, if you choose to register, you will be getting yourself in the line to receive our email info package that will give you all the login information necessary for you to participate in the program, as well as a lot of introductory information that will help you know what it is that you're going to be eating. Now, there is a fair amount of technology involved, but that's why we start almost a whole week ahead of time. Part of it is Zoom, and congratulations, because you are here. That means you have successfully completed the Zoom training for participating in Jumpstart. And then there is a set of applications through Google called Google Classroom, which is just a wonderful way of us being able to communicate and share materials and questions, and to be able to provide you with documents and links and videos and things like that. So you would get the login for that. And most importantly, we would be preparing you with an introductory information packet with suggested menus and shopping lists. So amongst the materials that we give you, we have a suggested calendar. And for people that are confident in the kitchen and competent at either working with recipe books or online recipes, you don't have to eat any of this. But there are some people that are here and they've heard about whole food plant-based nutrition, but really don't know much more than that. And we are here to take those people and make recommendations as to what you can eat for each day of 14 days. And we review this on the day -3 check-in, which will be the Wednesday before you actually start to eat this way. So we really want to make sure that you have enough time to get yourself up to speed. So if you were to participate on the Wednesday before the Saturday, which is day 1, you would come to a meeting just like this, and we would spend enough time going through the types of foods and the quantities of foods that you would be wanting to purchase prior to starting the Jumpstart. Now, I put this particular task in the Friday before because that would probably be the ideal time for you to, if you can, get labs for cholesterol or glucose or A1C, weigh yourself, blood pressure, things like that. And maybe this is one of those moments where Dr. Ted can take over and just talk about that.
Sure. So thanks for that, Bob. Yeah, it's very important to get your labs drawn ahead of time because you're going to then want to get your labs drawn after you've done the 15-day Jumpstart. We want you to be working with your doctor. We're not going to replace your doctor in any way. It's very important that your doctor knows you're doing this, especially if you're on any medication. We do have people who go through this without telling their doctor, and obviously that's okay. But a lot of people are on medication for chronic illness like diabetes and high blood pressure, and those medications may have to be adjusted sometimes fairly quickly because your body starts to return to normal quite quickly, and your blood pressure could get low, your blood sugar could get low, and you might have to have those things adjusted. So the labs basically are a lipid profile, which includes cholesterol and LDL, which is low density lipoprotein, the bad cholesterol, the whole panel, and then a fasting blood sugar. For people who have established diabetes, and we also want you to get a hemoglobin A1C, but most people won't need that unless you have diabetes. And then we want you to get the same labs right afterwards. The way you're going to learn to eat often has a very dramatic effect. We want you to stay with that diet until you get your labs drawn, so you find out exactly how well your body responded. And often people will have amazing results. We typically will have at least one person whose cholesterol drops 100 points, and we just had that last month. So 100 points in 2 weeks, it does happen. What else, Bob?
Oh, that was great.
All right.
Well done. Thank you. I just want to mention to people as we're going through this, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat. And then when we're done, and also our participants get a chance to introduce, or our alumni panelists get a chance to introduce themselves, then we will get to any of the questions in the chat.
So the reason I keep asking Bob for prompts is I've had a long day at work. So I need someone to kind of keep reminding me where we are. And I'm actually
I got you.
You got you. You got me thinking. I'm still at my other job right now.
That's not your house with all those images up there?
It could be, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
okay. Oh, and this is a letter that would go with that. I suppose I should have had this up there, but we help you to notify your primary care provider or any specialist that you want to know what you're doing. So you could fill this out by filling in the blue areas, and you could fax it, or you could just copy and paste it into your portal, or even make a phone call, and we can help you with that. Okay, but then it all begins on day one, which is Saturday. And, I really like that we do this on the weekend, because this is definitely an endeavor that you're going to be thinking about every day. But we're going to be here to help you manage it every day. And on the day one presentation, we will go into the relationship between food and chronic disease, the epidemics in the world today in terms of heart disease and diabetes and obesity are primarily lifestyle and diet related. And the relationship between eating bad food, or not food as we call it, and getting sick is undeniable, as well as the ability to reverse these diseases if you change what you're eating in amazingly short periods of time. And how do you change that? Well, you get to know yourself, and you get to know what you need to know in order to make a change. And we talk about that. We talk about 3 different components: autonomy, which is your attitude, your desire, your willpower to change, to learn. And then competence, which is what it is that you learn. There's so much to learn, and we're here to help you with that. And then relatedness, because when you change to eating nothing but whole plant foods and you go out into the world, everybody is going to seem a little bit different. Every plate that you see is going to be a little different. And so it definitely takes a lot of thought and preparation and understanding of yourself and other people to be able to survive this way, and to share what it is that you're doing, and why it is you're doing it, and you know how good it is for you. And we do a little bit of analysis just to know where you are on the spectrum of diets. You know, we get people that, you know, eat fast food, microwave food, processed junk food, all the way up to vegans, or, you know, Mediterranean diet people. We've had multiple keto survivors, people that went through keto and it didn't really agree with them. So what is it that you're eating, and where is it on the spectrum, and where do you want to go? And then specifically our diet, which is a very low fat, whole food, plant-based diet, which is based on a diet developed by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, which is a diet that has been very successful in reversing heart disease, as well as just about, you know, any other nutrition related chronic condition. And it's probably the most powerful and fastest acting type of diet that you could find to get yourself healthier. I don't know if you wanted to comment anything on that, Ted, at all, or should I just keep going?
No, that's great. Absolutely agree. So the Esselstyn diet, and it's really more of a lifestyle. We use diet and lifestyle interchangeably, but really we're talking about a lifestyle. Dr. Esselstyn's been doing this since the early 90s, and has had amazing results with his patients, which is how we basically chose this particular diet to teach, or lifestyle to teach.
Okay. And, you know, we find that as people go through this educational process, or possibly even before they come here, they're already convinced that they want to try this lifestyle, to learn, and lifestyle is a better word than diet. And I'll talk about that, you know, when I go through my own testimonial. But it really is a way of living that is different from every other diet that I've been on, or that might even be out there. But being able to survive is the challenge. So right away on the second day, we have a cooking class. And I don't know, maybe Bubby wants to just talk about the materials, unless I'm catching you off guard.
No, I get excited to talk about cooking, just like Carol Barnett said, Mrs. Vegan. I love cooking. I always say all the time, my life revolves around food. I love everything about food. And that may sound strange to folks that are coming from a standard American diet, to know that whole food, plant-based eating, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. But anyways, this cooking class that we have on Sunday is a great introduction. If this is brand new to you, we teach you how to make dish after dish after dish that is all simple ingredients. You don't have to go buy anything fancy or weird. You can get everything that you need at your regular grocery store. each recipe that we make kind of builds on the previous one. Like, like you'll see some of them there, the busy day soup, and then we make some salad dressing, and then we make something to put the salad dressing on. We make hummus, and then we make a hummus dressing. It's really, really cool. The way that Ann Pompa, she is the chef that designed all of these recipes. It is one of the funnest days of the Jumpstart. So yeah, it's great. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Bubby. Yeah, and this is really beneficial for either people that don't know about whole food plant-based cooking, or people who just don't know about cooking at all. But even if you do know about whole food plant-based cooking, and about being able to find your way around the kitchen, the camaraderie is also really nice, because we have a great little Zoom meeting, and there's dialogue going on in the chat, and answering questions, and often Ann Pompa herself will pop in, and she likes to kind of be there with herself on the video. So then you're off, you're ready to go, and you're still not alone though, because of all of the ongoing support, and I'll just do a recap of that later. But as far as the meetings go, we have another Wednesday check-in, just like this meeting here on day 5, and that is basically just kind of a free format. We like to share some successes or challenges, and it just always is a nice time for people to get to know each other, and it's a nice productive session for us. Then 1 week, halfway point through, it's a really great opportunity to assess where we are. If we need to make any course corrections and adjustments, that's a good time to do it. Also, people, even after just a week, have some interesting changes to report, and it's always exciting for us to just hear how people are feeling. But the real purpose of this is, we used to, when we met in person, have a potluck. But when we went virtual, in order to maintain all of the different events, we created a virtual potluck. So we ask everybody to send to me a picture and a set of ingredients, the title of what it is you're making, and the instructions. And I put together this pretty little recipe book with everything that's sent to me by participants. And it's so impressive how people, even after just 1 week, put together so much delicious food. It's so different, and then people go home and they try these recipes, and it just is a great way to get your repertoire of recipes built up, by hearing how people did, and if there was any things to watch out for, or something like that. But you just look what people submit. It's very artistic, and it could be anything from something really fancy and special to just putting stuff in a blender. Fast and easy in some cases is better than really elaborate. So we want it all. And then after that, just more continuing to adjust and feel better. Day 12 is another check-in like this. And then Dr. Ted had already kind of talked about this at the end, but ideally, for you to know if you want to continue, if you can get the numbers, that's what's going to make all the difference in the world. There's all kinds of facts and alternative facts out there, and this diet, that diet, what's the best diet. Well, we think the best diet is the best diet that works for you. And if you do this for 2 weeks and you get your pre-Jumpstart numbers, and then after 2 weeks, you get your post-Jumpstart numbers, and you like how they've changed, then there's your answer right there. And then you make the decision as to whether or not it's right for you. So getting those numbers, on that Friday would be optimal. And then we have our commencement and next steps. It's a 2-week program. And sometimes even, people will go off the path. People will slip up, and, it's kind of amazing where people start confessing that they, ate some walnuts, but it's okay. It's okay, because the idea behind these 2 weeks, of course, it's great if you can see the magnitude of change that your numbers reflect if you really stick with it for 2 weeks. But it's not about 2 weeks. It's about finding something that can make you healthy and help you sleep better, give you more energy, improve your mood for life. And that's what the next steps portion of day 15 is about. And throughout everything, there will be daily emails with little facts and links to videos and tips, as well as just notifications about meetings. There's the Google Classroom that I talked about, and there's really 2 parts of the Google Classroom. One is the stream, which is a forum. It's similar to Facebook, but it's private and secure, and there's no ads, and it's HIPAA compliant. So your privacy is assured in there. Now, of course, if you're volunteering, recipes or questions about things, the other participants will see that, but you don't have to do that publicly. You can always just do a private question, and and everything can stay private. And then there's the class resources that I also mentioned that are in the Google Classroom. And then afterwards, there's our alumni group. And this is something that is just really coming to fruition now. And so this is really a great time to be getting involved with Jumpstart. We've just gotten past our inaugural alumni group meeting, and our next one is coming up in a couple of days. We're going to have one every month, and this is going to be an opportunity for us to stay in touch with you, for you to be able to stay in touch not only with us, but the friends that you're going to make, and be able to collaborate with and help each other, for as long and as much as you want to put into it. So yeah, we're really excited about that. Now, my story, I had been a yo-yo dieter my whole life, obese kid. And back 5 years ago, I was well over 300 pounds. And I took a lot of pictures with animal products, and I think animal products had a lot to do with making me the person that I was. And there's a shot of me with my little brother, who's like literally the little brother. And yeah, I needed help, and I found whole food plant-based nutrition. My wife had been very patient with me. There's a card that my dad made, and he photoshopped me on top of a Superman, which was horribly ironic. But this was 5 years ago, and I've really just calmed down as far as the volatility of my weight, and I don't even feel like I'm dieting anymore, and I just live. And this was a couple of weeks ago. We had a little celebration, and it's because of plants. That's basically what makes the difference. So going through this, if there are people that want to include losing weight as part of your objectives of Jumpstart, I'm all about sharing some extra tips that kind of go beyond just the overall general nutritional aspects, but that can also, help you take off a few extra pounds. But that is basically my presentation. So I'm going to stop the share right now. And
That was great.
now,
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Now I think it's time to hear from there they are. There's Faith. I think I'll probably go in alphabetical order. So I would introduce Faith first, and go ahead, Faith, take it away. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. Okay, well, good evening. So my Jumpstart journey was really, really eye-opening. So for me, diabetes has really ravaged my family, my extended family. I mean, loss of limbs, having to, take insulin, many family members, limbs amputated. So it's wreaked havoc within my family. And for me, the concern was realizing that I was getting on the verge of becoming a pre-diabetic. So that really was very concerning to me. And then not figuring out how I could really change that. So in general, I have made, overall, positive eating choices. And I've also, somewhat exercised throughout my life. But I just was inching up to pre-diabetes, and I just know where that goes if that remains unchecked. So that was really concerning to me. So I was introduced to the 15-day Jumpstart, and I just happened to be looking for a new primary physician. So I showed the program to this primary physician, and she was ecstatic. She says, Faith, this is the research. This is how you reverse diabetes. This is the only thing that can reverse cardiovascular disease. It's this type of eating. This is the evidence. And so with that, very excited to join and do Jumpstart. And so within the 15 days, I think my lifeline was just really taking it seriously for 24 hours. That once it's like, I don't know, it was like a mental thing by looking at, okay, I can't have, some of the things that I was having regularly. And I was just very concerned about that. And so the realization and the freedom came for me just sticking to the program for 24 hours. It was as simple as that. And what I really, really appreciate about this program is the level of support that you get is incredible. I really felt like people were genuinely concerned about any issue that came up with me or anybody else that was in Jumpstart. And that was just exactly what I needed. I needed people that were concerned about how I can make this a part of my lifestyle and give me those tools. And I think that that's what Jumpstart did for me. So, long story short, 15 days later, my blood sugar, my fasting sugar was down 13 points, lost 6 pounds. My primary physician was ecstatic, and I'm on the road, of course, to better health. But it was only because of having to participate in Jumpstart and getting the practical tools I needed to make that lifestyle change. So you have to try it. That's what I would say.
That's a great story. Thank you for sharing that, Faith. Faith, where do you live?
Oh, okay. So I live in the Aurora area of Illinois. So It's a suburb of Chicago. So I am a long ways off. So I am the one of the people that really benefited from lifestyle going virtual. So just that's been great for me. So I would love to come out and see the clinic, but just having this type of access has been wonderful. So thanks.
And Faith, you're a nurse, aren't you?
I am. And so this is what's really difficult because one of the things that we want to do in healthcare is, of course, prevent, diabetes. We want to prevent heart disease, but
Mhm,
really finding the ways to give people the tools to do that
mhm,
has been a challenge of my career.
mhm.
And this is a game changer. So anyway.
Great. Thank you for that, Faith. Appreciate it. All right, Bob, who's next?
All right. Well, then next would be Maimuna. You're muted.
Oh, good evening, everyone.
Hello, Maimuna.
Hello. I'm one of those people who just finished the program first time. So I have been only doing this for last 2 weeks and just on this August program. I'm basically vegetarian for a long time. I have my family history, strong history of diabetes. And I was also close to being pre-diabetic. My cholesterol was high and I have tried few different things. I never ate any processed food or anything. I had lots of vegetable, but I still couldn't get a handle on why my cholesterol was high. When I took this course, I understood that oil and dairy had a lot to do with it. And that's the only two things that I could say that I made change to. And another wonderful thing about joining this program is there was lots and lots of support. So that really helped too. So here, Dr. Veggie and his group gave me competence that I needed and a support. So my cholesterol numbers, I just had my test done yesterday, labs done yesterday, and cholesterol
What
came down.
happened? I'm so excited. What's that?
35 points.
Really? What was your initial cholesterol?
Initial was 210, and
what
now
is
it's
it now?
175. So I still
That's
need to
great.
go down a little.
Very good though. What happened to your LDL?
On my LDL, it came down 28 points.
Really? What was the initial number?
Initial was 140, and now it's 112.
Okay. Well, congratulations. That's very exciting.
Thank you. Triglyceride came down 40 points.
Okay. What about your blood sugar?
And blood sugar was 110 on last test, and it's 96 now. So it came out.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Because you were pre-diabetic, right? Before that.
Yes.
110. Yeah, now you're in the normal range. Good job.
I'm in the normal range, but I still want to maintain the goals that you have
of course.
listed.
Of
So
course.
I'm going to continue with this program.
Good.
I have 2 challenges to meet, which I'm working on it.
Good. Congratulations. We're very
Yes.
excited. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
work. Yeah.
And so if you're going to join people who are evaluating this, I would highly recommend, if that's your goal, you will learn. If you are not the person who knows about vegan food, you'll learn a lot about it. And you will also gain skills and competence, and you will get the social support. And this team is wonderful. That's all I can say.
Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Maimuna. All right. Well, last but not least, thank you for waiting, Randy.
No problem, no problem. I have slightly different story. I've been, I was done with my first Jumpstart. I just haven't felt a need to take a second, but I graduated, so to speak, 14 months ago. And I come from a family with a lot of cardiac disease on my mother's side, and my husband comes from a family with high blood pressure. We had been vegans for well over a decade. And we both kept just gaining weight and gaining weight and gaining weight. Couldn't figure out why we were gaining weight. I want to give all kudos to my primary care physician, because she sent me to the Jumpstart. And I actually joined the Jumpstart in defiance of her, because I planned to show her wrong. I thought it would be much easier for me to take a diet pill than change my diet. And I thought, well, I'll go and I will take this thing and it will be a failure. And then I can go back and show her what a failure it was. I joined very late at the last minute tonight, so I don't have my numbers in front of me, but I'll tell you very quickly that at the end of the Jumpstart, like my triglycerides had dropped, my cholesterol had dropped. My husband went on the regimen with me and his high blood pressure dropped. He went to the doctor just this morning for a checkup and the doctor was stunned because we have stayed with this and there's no way we would ever go back. I have no temptation to go back, have no interest in loading up on highly processed, highly salted, highly sugared vegan food. And God knows in the past 14 months, I think Gardein has come out with 12 more things that, you know, I will never taste. And so at the end of the Jumpstart, I had lost 11 pounds. And after the end of the last summer, I had lost 25. And my husband lost about 16, 17 pounds altogether. He now walks around in our son's college blue jeans and they fall down to the ground. So we were already vegans and that part made it easier for us than perhaps some other people. But we were junk food vegans. We were junk vegans. And I feel so much better. And with regard to my hip replacement, this was my second hip replacement. I just happened to be a person who, luck of the draw, got a good case of osteoarthritis. And I am healing so much faster this time. My last hip replacement was 10 years ago. And now this one is 4 weeks ago. And I just, the kind of food that we eat, and I will tell everybody, when you learn how to cook without oil, it is no big deal. And you think when you learn how to do it in the Jumpstart, you will say, I never, it's so obvious. It's so like, why didn't I think of this myself? But it for us, it was nothing. And we actually, when we started the Jumpstart, we took all fat, all oil, Pam spray, you know, whatever had oil in it. And we put it in the garbage and we threw it away and we never turned back. So, so we feel wonderful. And I had to go and eat crow pie, oil-free, with my PCP and tell her how genius she was and how wrong I was to have fought this as hard as I did. But I'm so very glad that we did it.
Well, that's wonderful, Randy. Thank you for that, that great story. You could actually answer a question that's in the Q&A. I already answered it, but I'll read it to you. It says, my husband and I have been whole food plant-based for about 3.5 years and have loved it. Over the past year or so, more and more vegan junk food and oils have crept into our diet. I was thinking to use this as a reset. Would this program be good for that?
Yes, unequivocally.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes. Sometimes, you know, you walk past it in Wegmans, right? In the nature's marketplace. And you walk past and go, oh, look, they invented this, or, oh, look, they invented that. But it's more of like, it's like a museum. It's more like a curiosity. Like, oh, they have vegan lox now. And it's not, you know, it's not really vegan lox. It's all kinds of processed stuff and chemicals and things and lots of oil. Sure. I feel like my doctor said this to me, and I do feel this. I feel like my blood flows cleaner, and I don't know how else to describe that. But I just feel like my insides are cleaner without all the oil and fat.
Great. Well, we'll take credit for that.
You can.
Okay.
You can, absolutely.
Actually, I have a question for Bubby. So the word vegan has come up several times, and I wonder, it might be scaring some people away. What do you say to people who are scared off by the word vegan?
Okay, I'm going to use your analogy, is that vegan is really this giant big circle that encompasses anything that doesn't come from an animal. So that could be the processed foods that Randy was talking about. And it also includes excluding the use of animals for things like in your clothing or for entertainment. That's what veganism is. A vegan diet can have all of this processed food and high fat foods like Randy is talking to, but inside that giant circle of veganism, there's a smaller circle called whole foods plant-based. And some folks use the terms interchangeably. Just think of it, go back to, I think it was in 9th grade that we learned all of this, that all whole food plant-based food is vegan, but not all vegan food is whole food plant-based, right? The
Mhm.
logic in 9th grade math that I skated through in the skin of my teeth. But that's what I would say. You don't have to be afraid of the word vegan. We're not going to make you go out and you know, throw away your clothes that are made from wool or anything like that. You know, what we are going to ask is that you focus on whole foods that come from plants only.
Great, thanks. Looks like we got a question here, another question.
Can I mention something?
Oh, please do. Yeah,
I want to say that our dogs are whole food plant-based.
okay.
And they are both, and they have been for a long time, longer than we have. And they are both over 10 years old, and people come up to us in the street and they think that they're show dogs. And they're
Oh,
just rescue mutts, you
nice.
know, but they're extremely healthy. They're extremely, and we cook for them the same as we cook for us ourselves, same foods.
Lucky dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't eat a brand of dog food. They
Yeah,
eat.
no, we cook it all from scratch.
But do they eat your meals?
No, because our meals would have like onions in them and
Too much
garlic
spice and
that are
yeah.
like not good for dogs.
Right, of course.
But they, you know, they eat a whole food plant-based diet. And people just look at them and think, you know, that they're puppies, and they're not, they're old.
Is there room in the doghouse for me?
Of course,
I'm
anytime.
moving in. Thank you. So here's a question. It says, I'm a retired athlete and have serious arthritis issues. What can I expect from this? So that's a very interesting question. I'm an athlete. I wouldn't say I'm retired from being an athlete. I run all the time. And I'm just curious, as a retired, were you a professional athlete? I know is it one of those knee issues? Well, let me just say the most
we could ask him to talk if him or her to talk. Who is this person?
Shauna Federico. Is it okay if we unmute you, Shauna?
Well, I will allow Shauna and
you brought her up here. Okay.
She can decide.
Okay. So Shauna, you can unmute your video if you want, and we can see you.
I don't know if she can do the video.
Oh,
but she
okay. Well, can we say something, Shauna? Let's see if we can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you for sure.
Okay, great. I played semi-pro beach volleyball for 20 years.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
I've had 2 hip replacements and
Ah.
58 now. I'm still extremely active.
Sure.
But arthritis, it seems like this year has just taken over my fingers, my knees, everything.
Okay.
And I'm really desperate to get back to, you know, being the active person that I like to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I searched, you know, for something for some help, and that's how
Sure.
I ended up with you.
Sure. So let me just give you an overview. We have a lot of people who join this program not for their joints, but for diabetes or overweight or whatever. And at the end of the 2 weeks, they say, you know what? I didn't realize how much my joints were bothering me until I started jumping out of bed in the morning and realized that I used to be very stiff in the morning. So there are a lot of people whose joints do get better, and even if that isn't their goal. And it happens pretty quickly. So, you know, I think it's worth a try for sure. Especially when you say your non-weight bearing joints, like your fingers are bothering you. Is that what you said, Shauna?
Yes, they're terrible.
Yeah. How long has that been going on?
Just in the last maybe 3 or 4 months, it's my fingers and my knees all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. So, knees are weight bearing and they tend to wear out a little bit, like just like your hips wore out and you had to get hip replacements. But it's definitely worth a try. And the fingers, I would not be surprised at all if your fingers got a lot better quite quickly.
Great.
Yeah, so give it a shot. Your knees are probably going to get somewhat better because this is a very low inflammation diet. It really
That's
cuts on it really cuts on inflammation. And that's what we love about the Jumpstart. It doesn't take very long to find out. It only takes 2 weeks, and we run these every month. So it's been really extraordinary for us to hear. These other things. People tell us that their skin clears up. Things that they weren't expecting. Their heartburn is better. They don't feel like they have GERD anymore. Just their dentists tell them that their gums are better than they've ever seen. So there's a lot of inflammation that people aren't even aware of that seems to get better with this program. So yeah, we'd love to see you, Shauna.
Great. Thank
And
you.
we can talk about running too, because I'm a runner. But anyway,
Good.
thank you for sharing that. Loretta Reed says, I've been told that there are calcium deposits in the cardiac artery. Will there be a reversal of existing deposits, or will there be a cessation of calcium buildup? So Loretta, I'm assuming you had something called a calcium artery scoring, a CAT scan. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that's how there's calcium deposits in your coronary arteries. And the calcium is probably not going to go away. At least it's not but the plaque is going to improve. And calcium in the coronary artery is a reflection of plaque in atherosclerosis. So atherosclerosis is, hardening of the arteries. It's when you develop these plaques. Basically, it's a systemic disease. It occurs in every artery in your body. Different people tend to present with different symptoms. So people who have atherosclerosis or arteriosclerosis, some of them present with chest pain and a heart attack. Some present with a stroke or a TIA. Other people present with what's called claudication, where they have trouble walking. Some people present with impotence. So it really depends which artery is affected worse, but all the arteries are affected. And also all those arteries start to open up as soon as you do this. That also happens amazingly quickly. Dr. Esselstyn has some images in his book showing what's called a PET scan that demonstrates improvement in blood flow to the myocardium, to the heart muscle. Some of these scans are only a month apart, and they show the scan on day one is very abnormal, and on the follow-up scan is completely normal. And that's after just being on these programs for a very short period of time. So yeah, the arteries are going to improve. They will continue to improve for years. But the main goal, the immediate goal when you go on a program like this is if you're at risk for a heart attack, is to stabilize your plaques so they don't rupture and cause a heart attack. Because most of the sudden death that's caused by heart attack is not from these old calcified plaques that show up on the coronary artery scan, but they actually are from fresh plaques that actually are not even calcified. It's the uncalcified plaques that tend to cause sudden death. The calcified ones are the ones that are responsible for angina and chest pain. But yeah, definitely something to talk about. And if you join the program, we can talk more at length during one of the sessions. Good question. Bobby, what's up?
Just real quick, because I'm typing as fast as I can, but we've only got a few minutes left, so maybe it'll be quicker to answer verbally. Organic foods. Somebody was asking if that is, we only recommend using organic foods. Do you want to speak to that real quick?
Sure. We recommend whole plants. If you can get organic food, it's always better, but that's not essential for this at all. The most important thing is to switch over to plants. And then, once you get the hang of this, and if you've got a little extra cash, because organic food is often more expensive, but sometimes it's not. If it's the same price, you should always get organic. It's better for the planet, it's better for the workers, and it's better for you.
Thank you.
Yep. What else?
So I just had one question, and this could be for whichever alumni panelist gets their finger on the button quickest.
I'm not alumni.
That's right. I wonder if one of you has a relatedness story about not with us, because you did a wonderful job of talking about your relationship with us, but how about outside of our little window of squares, the rectangles here? something about family, friends, coworkers, something that you know was related to how you presented, you know, how you're living and what happened, and hopefully it's a good one.
Anybody have a story about relatedness? Remember, that's one of the three components of.
Da, da, da,
Yeah, it looks
da,
like Randy.
da,
Randy
da.
raised her hand.
Randy, yeah, she did.
Well, I think I'm kind of cheating because I already mentioned my husband.
Mhm.
And, you know, for a lot of people, their significant other does not want to come along on this. And that will present, I think, and I'm certainly not an expert in this field, but I mean, that could present a whole series of challenges of its own. You know, when you are having to cook for yourself, but your significant other says, you know, I don't want to eat that. I want to, I want, a nice big fat sausage, with lots of oil coming out of it. And so I have to say my story of relatedness is, I'm really, really fortunate because my husband just jumped on the bandwagon hook, line, and sinker. And experienced and he was not an overweight guy to begin with, but again, he has high blood pressure running through his family. And so, getting him to where, they can, they're actually thinking of taking him off lisinopril altogether, but at least lowering it by a lot.
Wow.
And he's always been a, kind of a slender guy, but now he's really a slender guy. And just is if you can get your significant other involved in, my husband is he is my sous chef. And so he's great at chopping. And so that dinners can kind of come together like this, 1, 2, 3. If your significant other is being resistant, maybe you can get them on board by enlisting them as a sous chef. And I just found that was, he's never been resistant, but if he had been, that would have been really useful.
Thank you for that. Yeah, so for people who are wondering why Bob asked about relatedness, we talk a lot about self-determination theory as a way of making behavior change. And the third component we talk about is relatedness. There's, what are they? Autonomy,
right. Competence,
and relatedness. Thank you. Right. And actually, that was actually developed in Rochester, New York. So we're kind of excited, proud about that. Faith, did you have any relatedness stories?
It's Randy, right, that spoke.
Yeah.
She brings up a really good point that when you have family members that are coming on this journey with you, oh my goodness, that's heaven. But if you don't, I think for me, I understand the numbers and I understand the statistics that are surrounding that are kind of like chasing me down, right? Because I'm obviously African American, so I have a really good understanding that 1 in 2 African American women will be diabetic, and I've seen it in my family. So for now, for me, I think my relatedness story is I've had the courage to want something different for myself, and I think the result of that is my husband is coming along. Right? Because he's like, what are you eating? And it's so funny because now every time we go to a restaurant, he like waits till I order and he orders the same thing. Because I think he thinks like I'm gonna outlive him. and I'm like hatching some plan, but not really. But it's made him concerned about his own health, just watching me be serious about mine. So so take courage.
That's great. That's good to hear. Yeah.
Story.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Let's just give Maimuna a chance if there was a story that she might have.
I consider myself fortunate. My husband is very encouraging, and I cook most of the meals, and he enjoys whatever I make. So that's not a problem. My family, extended family, is very encouraging. We are basically vegetarians to begin with, so. And as Indian, there are a few challenges because our food includes a lot of rice and chapatis, which is wheat. So for for us, when nobody's over, we can manage fine. But if we invite people, that's something we're going to have to learn, how we're going to manage that. Or are we maybe give them few of the whole food vegan dishes and then cook something else and introduce them, something like that.
Mhm.
So other than that, my immediate family, my husband, my children, and my friends, and they're very encouraging. Actually, they've been asking a lot of questions about that, and we have had a few discussions. So,
Great.
and
Just
when
to-
I talked about my numbers, everybody is impressed.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. Just to clarify for people who are wondering, I know you said that you mentioned wheat and rice as a problem. Wheat and rice, whole wheat and whole rice are definitely encouraged on this program. It's not a problem. It's when we are dealing with white rice and processed wheat that it's an issue.
Yeah, well, the Indian food is white rice, a lot of basmati rice, white rice.
Right.
I see some brown rice being introduced, but
good.
not mostly. My question, this is not the time to ask, but can you use a sprouted soya flour and sprouted wheat flour to make the bread?
If it works to make bread, those definitely are allowed. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
But we also eat it as a staple, so there's a lot of it. That's the.
I know it's hard for people to believe, especially people who are worried about diabetes. It's carbohydrates are not the enemy. It's processed carbohydrates that are the problem. So, right? So whole carbohydrates, brown rice, whole wheat, sprouted, well, what other?
Soy flour.
Yeah, soy flour would be fine if it's whole soy, right? So, or garbanzo. I don't know, Bob or Bubby, help me out here because you guys cook more than I do. Bubby,
One of the things that we do is we help you to answer that yourself. Okay, so when you go to the supermarket, now don't get me wrong, we also give you lists. We have lists of what you can order in restaurants, of what kind of products you can buy. We do give you a lot of things that you can just take with you and get the right thing. But what we really want you to be able to do is to turn the package around, realize what's on the front is not to be believed. It's what's on the back where they have to tell you the truth. And then there's the two sections that you need to learn to be familiar with: the ingredients and the nutrition. And when you look in the ingredients, if it says whole, then it has to be whole because they can't lie. And if it says enriched or processed or any kind of another descriptor in there other than whole, then you can pretty much presume that it's not whole. And it's as simple as that. If you can identify every ingredient on the ingredient list as something that your grandparents or great grandparents would have also been able to cook with, then you're going to be fine. And the quantity of things can also affect it. So you'll probably see salt in just about every packaged food. So then the question is, how much salt? So that's where you look at the nutrition, and they'll tell you per serving for the amount of calories in that serving, how many milligrams of salt, for example, are there. And we try to keep the balance to be roughly the amount of calories should be approximately equal to the number of milligrams of salt, because if the standard US diet is about 2,000 calories and the federal recommended daily allowance is about 2,300 milligrams of sodium, then if you can keep that 1-to-1 ratio going, then you're not going to eat too much sodium.
Sure.
And it's as simple as that. So if you get those skills, you can, whatever the grain is, and I've had a long day too. I don't have all the whole grains off the top of my head either, but I don't need to. I can just look on the back of the package and determine if it works.
Sure. So really, to back up a little bit, remember we mentioned the self-determination theory. One of the three components is competence. we really want you to be competent when you walk into that store or in a restaurant if necessary, but really when you're looking at ingredients on a package, that you can figure it out. So rather than explain it right now, specifically how to figure it out, we just want you to know that that's what we're here to teach you. We don't want you to learn how to just cook prepared foods or have to have food delivered to you. We want you to understand how you can do this yourself so that you'll become independent, and then you won't really need anybody else after that. You'll be able to do this on your own. That's really important, because there's no reason that one of the lost skills that's happened in the last 50 years is people just don't know how to cook anymore. And industry loves that, right? Industry just wants to sell you food, and they make food that's addictive. So you want even more of it, even though it doesn't really satisfy you or make it, and it makes you sick. So we're here to teach you how to figure that out and be competent on your own.
Vegan is a big industry now.
Is that?
Veganism is a big industry for food
It is a big industry. We, if you want to have it as a treat once in a while, it's not the end of the world, but it is not health food, and we don't want you, subsisting on that. We want you to learn how to make food on your own, and it's really important. So it looks like we're just about run out of time here. So what do you think, Bob?
I think this was a wonderful session, and I do want to thank our three alumni panelists for coming to share.
Thank you so much.
I really, having you folks here, I think I speak for all our staff, is what really makes this a joy for us. So thank you all for coming. I did put my email in the chat box before, robert.frankie. Plus you got one from me probably an hour before this webinar started. So a couple of people have been private messaging. If you want, please just follow up with me and I will get back to you. And any questions about the Jumpstart or any of the things that we're talking about tonight, you can also email those. And I hope we see you 2 weeks from tonight.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Somebody just wanted to know, how do I sign up now? Go right to the rocklifemed.com website. I'm going to put a link in here.
Rocklifemed. Yeah, well, you can, that'll work. That's right. Yeah. That'll work. Rocklifemed.org. They all work.
.org. Okay. So I put a link. Oh no, I just sent it to Bob. I'm going to put
I'll have, I got it coming shortly here.
There you go.
There it is. And if you just go to the calendar, pick the Jumpstart you want to sign up for. Go to our calendar, pick the Jumpstart you want to sign up for, and follow the instructions. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. All right. Great. Good to see you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.